It's been a long road. The coffee got cold again this morning. Sat on the porch watching traffic roll by. There's a crack in the driveway I've been meaning to fix. Guess some things just keep getting pushed aside. The mailbox leans a little more every year. The paint's peeling off that old shed out back. Funny how you notice every little thing when the house gets quiet like that. I still park the truck in the same old spot. Still reach for a hand that ain't there sometimes. Still wake up before the alarm goes off. Still got too much running through my mind. Some folks move on easy, at least that's what they say. Me, I'm just trying to make it through another day. I'm still here, still turning these wheels, still carrying things I don't talk about, still learning how to heal, still talking to God at every red light. The storm hit hard, but it didn't take my fight. Yeah, I'm still here. Oh, I'm still here. The bank called twice last Tuesday. Didn't leave much room to guess why. I let it ring while I sat in the truck, looking at a Tennessee sky. There's an old photograph above the kitchen sink. Me, my boy, and a fish we caught that spring. He was missing 2 front teeth, thought he could do anything. Sometimes I look at that picture and maybe I still can too. Ain't everything broken, ain't everything gone. Some days that's enough to keep a man moving on. I'm still here, still turning these wheels, still carrying things I don't talk about, still learning how to heal, still talking to God at every red light. The storm hit hard, but it didn't take my fight. Yeah, I'm still here. Oh, I'm still here. Hey, I ain't looking for miracles, I ain't asking for much, just a little peace at the end of the day, a reason not to give up. Maybe tomorrow comes easier, maybe it don't. Either way, I put these boots back on and keep going. I'm still here, still standing somehow. Didn't get the life I planned, but I'm living it now. Still chasing the sunrise, still holding on tight. The road got rough, but I'm still in the fight. Yeah, I'm still here. Some days you just keep driving. See you down the road. I never thought I'd be here. but here we are. It was a Thursday. It was a Thursday. At least I think it was. Funny the things you remember, funny the things you don't. There was coffee in the pot, a load of laundry in the hall. Nothing looked much different till I noticed what was gone. Her favorite blue coffee mug wasn't sitting by the sink, and somehow that hit harder than all the words I couldn't think. The house was still standing, the pictures were still on the wall, but something felt different, like I already knew it all. Nobody slammed the door, nobody raised their voice. Sometimes goodbye shows up long before the choice. That was the day she left. No thunder in the sky, no big dramatic ending, just a quiet goodbye. 22 years packed into a few boxes in a drive. That was the day she left, and half this house went with her that night. I found a note 3 days later, tucked beside the microwave. It wasn't angry, wasn't cruel, didn't say who was to blame. Just said she was tired of feeling alone. Funny thing is, so was I. We were two people living in the same house, walking past each other every single night. Looking back now, I can see the cracks, but back then we just called it life. That was the day she left. No thunder in the sky, no big dramatic ending, just a quiet goodbye. 22 years packed into a few boxes and a drive. That was the day she left, and half this house went with her that night. I still catch myself waiting to hear her keys, still leave a light on some evenings without thinking. Maybe habits take longer to leave than people do. Maybe healing starts when the truth finally gets through. The old F-150 sat out in the driveway, same place it's always been. I climbed inside and drove for miles, didn't know where, didn't care, just needed the road to be louder than my thoughts. That was the day she left, nothing looked the same. The porch, the kitchen, the sound of my own name. 22 years, she don't just sweep that away. You learn to carry it one day at a time. since the day she left. Yeah, it's been a long road. Some days you just keep driving. Other days you just stare at the ceiling. First week felt like a blur. Friends called, I said I was alright. Kept busy fixing things that didn't need fixing. Anything to get through the night. Changed the oil in the truck, cleaned out the garage, rearranged a shelf in the basement, like somehow that would heal my heart. Then came Tuesday morning, no place to be, no noise in the kitchen, and just the sound of me. Funny how a house can be so quiet when nothing's really changed. It's that empty side of the bed that gets me every time. A space where 22 years used to lay down every night. The sheets are still there, the pillow ain't moved, but every morning when I wake up, the truth comes walking through. It's that empty side of the bed. I still make too much coffee, still set out too much sometimes. Catch myself turning to tell her something, then remember she's not mine. Saw her favorite jacket yesterday, still hanging by the door. Stood there longer than I should have, couldn't touch it anymore. The clock keeps moving, the world keeps spinning around, but grief has a way of slowing everything down. People say time heals, maybe they're right, but time moves awful slow some nights. It's that empty side of the bed that gets me every time. A space where 22 years used to lay down every night. The sheets are still there, the pillow ain't moved, but every morning when I wake up, the truth comes walking through. It's that empty side of the bed. I ain't mad at her, ain't mad at myself, not anymore. I think we were both tired just carrying things we never put into words. Maybe that's how some stories end, not with a fight, just with silence. And last Sunday I found an old picture taken down by the lake, her laughing at something I said before we forgot how. Before life got heavy, before all the bills, before every conversation started feeling uphill. I sat there for a while, then put it back in the drawer. Not because I wanted to forget, just couldn't hold it anymore. It's that empty side of the bed that still feels like home. A reminder that a man can be surrounded by walls and still feel alone. Some wounds don't could mean. It's that empty side of the bed. I never thought I'd be sleeping alone at this age, but here we are. See you down the road. Yeah, it's been a long road, and some things take longer than they should. The box sat in the corner for almost 3 months straight, right beside the old lawnmower and a bucket of rusted paint. Every time I'd walk past it, I'd tell myself, not today. Funny how a cardboard box can make a grown man walk away. The garage smelled like motor oil and an old Tennessee rain, the kind that snakes in through the cracks and leaves everything the same. I pulled up a folding chair, just stared at it for a while, like maybe if I waited long enough it might disappear on its own. But some roads don't move forward till you finally look back. It was the last box in the garage, the last pieces of a life we had. A couple pictures, a church bulletin, a birthday card folded in half. Nothing worth much money, but somehow worth it all. It was the last box in the garage, and the hardest thing to haul. There was a beach towel from Gulf Shores, a receipt from a little diner downtown, a note she wrote inside a cookbook back when we still laughed around the house. Found a picture of a boy holding a fish almost bigger than him. I remember that day, I remember her smile, I remember when. Funny how memories show up without asking permission first. 1 minute you're cleaning out a garage, next minute you're fighting tears. A man can carry a lot of weight, sometimes it's the light things that hurt. It was the last box in the garage, the last pieces of a life we had. A couple pictures, a church bulletin, a birthday card folded in half. Nothing worth much money, but somehow worth it all. It was the last box in the garage, and the hardest thing to haul. I thought I'd feel angry, maybe even relieved. Truth is, I mostly felt tired of replaying old conversations, tired of wondering what went wrong, tired of carrying yesterday into every tomorrow. The sun was dropping low, shining through the open door. I packed everything back inside, except one photograph, me, her, our boy, standing beside that old F-150. Everybody smiling, nobody looking at the camera. I slipped it in my wallet, closed the box, and finally carried it off. Here was the last box in the garage, the last chapter on that shelf. Not the end of my story, just the end of that part of myself. Some things don't need fixing, some things don't come back. Sometimes all a man can do is carry the last box and keep walking. Some days you let go, some days you just learn to carry it different. We'll keep moving. Sunday mornings used to mean something different. Woke up before the sun today, habit I guess. The coffee maker rattled to life, same as it always has. Put on an old flannel shirt, stepped out onto the porch. Whole town still sleeping, not a sound but a dog somewhere down the road. The church bell rang at 8, carried across the fields. Funny how a sound can travel so far and still hit you right where you live. I sat there with my coffee, watching the sky turn gold, thinking about all the Sundays that disappeared before I noticed. I used to think faith was something you found, now I think it's something you hold on to. It's another Sunday without her, another quiet morning light. Just me and this old pickup and a conversation with the sky. I ain't looking for answers, I ain't asking why, just trying to make a little peace with another Sunday without her. Drove down the back roads a while, past the grain elevator, past the hardware store, past places that never seem to change. Saw old Mr. Jenkins waving, same cap he's worn for 20 years. Some things still make sense even when everything else doesn't. Stop by the lake, kill the engine, listen to the wind moving through the trees. And for the first time in a long while, I wasn't thinking about what I lost, just sitting there breathing. Maybe healing ain't a finish line, maybe it's a Sunday like this. It's another Sunday without her, another quiet morning light. Just me and this old pickup and a conversation with the sky. I ain't looking for answers, I ain't asking why, just trying to make a little peace with another Sunday without her. Lord, I don't know where this road ends, don't know what next year looks like, don't know if I'll ever understand it all. But thanks for the sunrise, thanks for the coffee, thanks for one more day to try. That's enough for now. The afternoon came easy, a rare thing these days. My boy sent a text, just said, Love you, Dad, I smile. Put the phone back in my pocket and watch the water a little longer. Some blessings don't make a lot of noise. It's another Sunday without her, but somehow it feels alright. Not because the hurt is gone, not because I've won some fight, just because the world kept turning, and so did I, finding little pieces of grace on another Sunday without her. Yeah. Some days you just keep driving, and some days you finally slow down enough to hear yourself think. See you down the road. Yeah. I saw the number before I answered. The phone started ringing around 9:30. Same number as yesterday, same number as last week. I already knew what they were gonna say. I was sitting in the truck outside the hardware store, engine off, window down, watching people come and go like the world hadn't changed at all. The voicemail came in a minute later. I didn't need to hear it. You can tell a lot from a silence before someone starts reading a script. I look down in my hands, 30 years of cuts and scars. Funny how a man can spend his whole life working and still end up here. Nobody warns you how heavy work gets. The bank called again this morning, said they needed to talk, like I didn't already know, like I hadn't been keeping count. The truck needs tires, the roof needs work, and every dollar's got a destination before it ever hits my shirt. The bank called again this morning, but they weren't the first thing on my mind. I'm still trying to hold together the pieces they can't see on the line. There was a time I'd never answer late, never miss a payment, never think twice about buying dinner, never wonder where the money went. Back then I thought security was something you could build and keep. Turns out life has a way of changing the rules while you're asleep. The waitress at Miller's Diner asked if I wanted a refill. I smiled and said sure. Spent 10 minutes staring out the window, thinking about every decision that brought me to this booth. Sometimes the hardest part ain't losing money, it's losing certainty. The bank called again this morning, said they needed to talk, like I didn't already know, like I hadn't been keeping count. The truck needs tires, the roof needs work, and every dollar's got a destination before it ever hits my shirt. The bank called again this morning, but they weren't the first thing on my mind. I'm still trying to hold together the pieces they can't see on the line. Lord, I've asked for a lot less lately. Not a miracle, not a winning ticket. Just enough work, enough strength, enough reason to keep moving. One more month, one more week, one more day. Driving home that evening, I passed a crew pouring concrete. Hard hats, work gloves, dust in the air. And for the first time all day, I wasn't thinking about what I owed. I was thinking about what I still knew how to do. Work, show up, keep going. The bank called again this morning. Maybe they'll call tomorrow too. Maybe some problems take time. Maybe some roads do. The bills ain't gone, the pressure's still there, but I survived worse things than numbers floating through the air. The bank called again this morning, and yeah, it got under my skin, but the sun still came up. And tomorrow I'll get up with it again. Some days you don't need a plan. You just need enough strength to make it to sunset. We'll keep moving. I thought I'd retire from that place. Funny how life works. "31 years through the same front gate, same parking lot, same coffee stain on the passenger seat, same radio station every morning. I knew every crack in that building, every machine by sound. Could tell when something wasn't right before anyone else around. And one Friday afternoon, they called us into a room. Nobody had to say a word, we all knew. A man in a clean shirt started talking numbers, budgets, market conditions. Funny thing, I don't remember much after that. Some news hits your ears, some hits your bones. 48 and laid off, never thought those words were mine. One handshake, one cardboard box, and 30 years left behind. I drove home with my hands on the wheel, not knowing what to say. 48 and laid off. Everything changed that day. The truck felt smaller somehow, the road felt longer too. I sat in the driveway nearly an hour before I walked through the door. The dog came running, happy as ever, didn't know a thing had happened. Part of me envied him. The kitchen clock kept ticking, the world kept moving along. Funny how your life can split in half and nobody else hears the sound. I wasn't scared of hard work, I was scared of starting over. 48 and laid off, I never thought those words were mine. The one handshake, one cardboard box, and 30 years left behind. I drove home with my hands on the wheel, not knowing what to say. 48 Everything changed that day. Lord, I know there's men out there carrying heavier loads than mine, but sitting in that driveway, I couldn't see much past tomorrow. Couldn't see the next job, couldn't see the next chapter, couldn't see much of anything except that old F-150 and a future I didn't recognize. A week later I found my work badge in the pocket of an old jacket, held it for a second and laughed. 30 years reduced to a piece of plastic. Guess that's life. You spend decades building something, then one day you're asked to leave it behind. 48 laid off, yeah, it knocked me to my knees. Made me question who I was without that company name on my sleeve. But the sun kept rising and bills still came. So I put on my boots every morning and kept showing up anyway. 48 and laid off. That's part of my story now, but it ain't the whole thing. Some days you lose a job and spend a long time figuring out you didn't lose yourself. See you down the road. Yeah. Funny the things you keep. Found them in the back of the closet, covered in dust and years. A pair of old work boots I hadn't worn in forever. The leather was cracked, the laces were shot. There was dried concrete on one toe from a job I barely remember. I sat down on the edge of the bed, picked one up in my hands, and somehow those old boots had more stories than most men. They'd been through summer heat, January rain, long shifts, bad bosses, and miles that nobody saw. Funny how a man can forget everything he's already survived. These old words, been through hell and back, still standing by the door, like they ain't done yet. Got a few scars, got a little wear, kinda reminds me of the man sitting here. Yeah, these old work boots. I remember that refinery job, working 12-hour nights. My boy was just a kid back then, could barely ride a bike. I missed a lot of ball games, missed a lot of sleep, trying to build a life that would someday be enough. There were mornings I'd come home exhausted, still mow the grass, still fix a broken fence, still find a way to laugh. Back then I thought strength meant never slowing down. Now I think it means getting back up after you do. this world that lasts forever. But some things hold together, these old work boots. Have been through hell and back, still standing by the door, like they ain't done yet. And got a few scars, got a little wear, kinda reminds me of the man sitting here. Yeah. And another sunrise coming. That's not nothing. I set those boots by the front door, right where I could see 'em. Not because I planned on wearing 'em, just needed the reminder that before the divorce, before the layoff, before all the nights staring at ceilings, there was a man who showed up, a man who kept going, a man who's still here. Ain't pretty anymore, but they never promised to be. They were built for the long haul, just like me. Got a few scars, got a little wear, still got some miles left in the man standing here. Yeah, these old work boots. Some days you don't find hope, you find a reminder, and that's enough. We'll keep moving. Yeah. Wasn't expecting that call. I was changing the oil in the truck, hands covered in black, country station playing low. Just another Sunday afternoon, phone buzzed in my pocket. I almost let it go. Figured it was another bill collector, or somebody selling something I didn't need. But it was my boy, his name on the screen. Funny how one little thing can change the whole day. I wiped my hands on an old shop rag, took a breath and hit answer. Sometimes hope don't knock, sometimes it calls. My boy called Sunday just to hear my voice. Didn't ask for money, didn't need a thing. Said, how you doing, Dad? Like it actually mattered. And for the first time in a while, I felt something bigger than all this hurt. Yeah, my boy called Sunday. We talked about fishing, talked about football, talked about that old dog that used to chase us down the driveway. Nothing important, at least not on paper. No life-changing advice, no deep conversation, a father and a son finding their way through another car. Then there was a pause, one of those quiet moments, the kind when nobody knows what to say. And then he said, "Love you, Dad, man, that one stayed with me." Some words weigh more than the world ever will. My boy called Sunday just to hear my voice. Didn't ask for money, didn't need a thing. Said, "How you doing, Dad?" Like it actually mattered. And for the first time in a while, I felt something bigger than all this hurt. Yeah, my boy called Sunday. Oh. Lord, I spent a lot of nights counting everything I lost, but sitting there in that garage, phone still in my hand, I started counting different things. A son who still calls, a family not completely gone, a reason to keep showing up. Maybe that's enough, maybe that's everything. The sun was getting low, casting shadows through the shop. I just sat there for a while, didn't turn on the radio, didn't start the truck, didn't do much of anything. Just looked around at the life I thought was falling apart. And for the first time, it didn't feel quite so empty. My boy called Sunday, and something changed in me. Not all at once, not like the movies, just enough to see that there's still good things standing beside the pain. Still reasons to keep going, even when nothing goes your way. My boy called Sunday, and I think he saved me more than you'll ever know. Some days you find strength in yourself. Some days it comes from the people who still pick up the phone. See you down the road. Some days you wake up different, not because life changed, because you did. The alarm went off at 5:30, same sound as every morning. Same cracked screen on the nightstand, same old house, same old worries waiting. But something felt lighter somehow, not fixed, not gone, just lighter. I pulled back the curtain, looked out toward the fields. The sky was starting to turn that faded orange that shows up right before dawn. Been seeing that sunrise for years. Funny how I noticed it today. Maybe hope ain't loud, maybe it slips in quiet. Just give me one more sunrise, one more chance to try again, one more cup of coffee Just one more sunrise, and I'll do the rest. Stop by the diner around 6, same booth by the window, same waitress calling everybody hung, same old country song on the speakers. The guy at the counter was talking with her. Someone else complaining about gas prices. Life going on like it always does. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel left behind by it. Maybe healing looks like this. Not a miracle, not a breakthrough, just feeling like you're part of the world again. Sometimes getting better looks a lot like ordinary. Just give me one more sunrise, one more chance to try again, one more cup of coffee, one more road to drive. I ain't asking for easy, I ain't asking for perfect, just one more sunrise, and I'll do the rest. Oh, I spent a long time looking at closed doors. Maybe I forgot to look out the window. Maybe tomorrow ain't something to fear, maybe it's something to me. 1 mile, 1 hour, one morning at a time. Back home I opened the garage, saw those old work boots by the door, saw the fishing picture of my boy, saw the truck keys hanging on the wall. Same things they've been all week, but they look different today. Or maybe I did. Either way, I smile. Just give me one more sunrise, one more day beneath this sky, one more reason to keep moving, one more mile to drive. Life don't owe me answers, life don't owe me a plan. Just one more sunrise, and another chance to be the man I am. Yeah, one more sunrise, that's enough for me. I used to think strength was carrying everything along. Now I think it's just showing up again tomorrow. We'll keep moving. Yeah. Been a while since I punched a clock. The truck fired up on a second try, cold morning. A little bit of fog hanging over the fields, coffee in a travel mug, work gloves on the passenger seat, nothing fancy, just another job site across town, the kind of place nobody writes songs about. Fresh lumber stacked by the fence, generators humming in the dark, men standing around drinking coffee before the day gets started. Felt strange walking up, like the new guy, like the old guy, both at the same time. Funny how a man can't forget how much he needs a place to be. Got dust on my boots again, dirt on my hands, a reason to set the alarm, and a plan for where I stand. Ain't rich, ain't famous, still got bills coming due, but it's hard to feel useless with dust on your boots. By noon my back was talking, by 3 my shoulders knew it too. Guess sitting around worrying uses different muscles than work does. The kid working beside me couldn't have been 25. Called me sir twice, made me laugh both times. He asked where I'd learned all this. I told him mostly from making mistakes. He nodded like I handed him wisdom. Truth is, I was still figuring things out myself. Some lessons cost money, some cost years. Got dust on my boots again, dirt on my hands, a reason to set the alarm, and a plan for where I stand. Ain't rich, ain't famous, still got bills coming due, but it's hard to feel useless. Dust on your boots. Lord, thank you for honest work, for sore muscles, for tired evenings, for the kind of exhaustion that lets a man sleep. I've asked for a lot of things lately. Today, this feels like enough. Driving home at sunset, I caught my reflection in a mirror. Same face, same scar, same eyes, but something was different. Maybe it was the way I said, maybe it was the way I breathed, or maybe it was just knowing I earned a day. Got dust on my boots again, and I don't mind at all. Every mark tells a story of getting back up after a fall. Life ain't perfect, never was, but I still got work to do. That feels pretty good. The dust on my boots, yeah. Dust on my boots. Some days hope looks like a sunrise. Some days it looks like a hard hat and a paycheck. See you down the road. Yeah. Long way from where I thought I'd be. Took the back roads home tonight. Didn't have a reason, didn't need one. Just turned off the highway and followed the two-lane blacktop through fields and fence lines. The sun was dropping low, painting everything gold. The kind of evening that makes you roll the windows down. Even if the air's a little cold, I passed the old feed store, the one that's been there forever. Past a church with 6 cars outside. Wednesday night, I guess. Kept driving, kept thinking, kept listening. Funny how the world gets quieter when you stop trying to outrun it. These back roads and grace, that's what's carried me this far. A little faith, a little grit, and a whole lot of scars. Didn't always know the way, didn't always understand, but somehow I kept moving through these back roads and grace. The truck hums steady beneath me, radio turned down low. For once I wasn't drowning out my thoughts, I was letting them come and go. Thought about the years behind me, the mistakes, the good days, the things I changed, the things I wouldn't. Thought about my boy, thought about that call, thought about how close I came to believing I'd lost it all. It turns out a man can lose a lot and still have enough left to keep going. These back roads and grace, that's what's carried me this far. A little faith, a little grit, and a whole lot of scars. Didn't always know the way, didn't always understand, but somehow I kept moving through these back roads and grace. Lord, I don't have all the answers, still don't know what comes next. Still got bills on the table, still got worries in my head. But thanks for getting me through another day. Thanks for the people who stayed. Thanks for the mornings I didn't quit, and the evenings I made it home. That's enough for tonight. The stars are showing up by the time I hit the county line. Same road I've driven 100 times, but it felt different. Not because the road changed, not because life got easier, just because I finally noticed how far I'd already come. These back roads and grace been carrying me all along, through broken dreams, through hard years, through everything that went wrong. I ain't where I planned to be, but I ain't where I was, and that's enough reason to believe in these back roads and grace. Yeah, these back roads and grace. Some days you ask God for answers. Some days you just thank Him for another mile. We'll keep moving. stronger than I ever thought it'd be. There's a dent on the driver's side of that old F-150. Been there so long now, I hardly even see it. Funny how damage works. At first it's all you notice, then one day it just becomes part of the story. I've got scars that work the same way, a few on my hands, a few in my heart. Some from bad decisions, some from things I never saw coming. Guess that's life. You keep carrying it until it starts carrying you. Broken but standing, tired but strong. Lost a few things, still moving on. Didn't get easy, didn't go planned. Broken but standing, that's who I am. A lot has changed this year. Some of it hurt, some of it needed to happen. Even if I didn't know it then. The house got quieter, the nights got longer, the road got steeper, the money got tighter. But somewhere along the way, I stopped counting only what was gone. Started noticing what was still here. My boy, my faith, my hands, my heartbeat, another sunrise. Turns out gratitude can grow in rough ground. Broken but standing, tired but strong. Lost a few things, still moving on. Didn't get easy, didn't go planned. Broken but standing, that's who I am. Lord, I'm not the man I was, but maybe that's alright. Maybe every hard mile was shaping somebody stronger. Not stronger because he never fell, stronger because he got back up again and again and again. The truck's still running, the boots are still by the door. My boy still calls, the sun still rises. And me, I'm still learning, still growing, still figuring it out. At 50 years old, I guess that's what living is. Broken but standing, bent but not gone. The world kept pushing, but I kept holding on. Didn't get perfect, didn't get planned. Oh, broken but standing, that's who I am. Broken but standing, still finding my way, still trusting tomorrow, still showing up each day. The road ain't finished, neither am I. Broken but standing under this Tennessee sky. Some days you win, some days you endure, and sometimes that's the same thing. See you down the road.